The only thing that happened in the NFL was Joe Flacco got signed to the Jets for a year.
Flacco went to the Jets, huh?
Yeah, but he's pretty hurt, I guess, still, so he doesn't even know if he'll be able to play.
But I mean, why are the Jets doing that? Is it just in case Darnold gets mono again or something like that?
No, well, that too. But if you think about it, we can talk about it on the show.
Oh, we're on. We're live.
Oh, here, hold on. Are you guys sharing?
Oh, yeah. I shared.
Yeah.
Let me know when you've shared, and I'll hit this button.
What's the button do?
You'll know.
You'll know.
You know what it is.
You know what it is, bitch.
You know what it is.
That's my favorite part of The Nightman Cometh. What is that? You know what it is, bitch.
See, my favorite part of The Nightman Cometh is, so do you want song or no song?
She wanted to do a song.
So are you going to do a song or no song? She's like, what song? Oh, you want a song?
She wants to sing a song.
That's my favorite part of the whole episode.
Did Dee come to Charlie with a musical?
Did Dee come to Charlie and write a song?
And then my other favorite part of it is when he's singing, when he's wearing the yellow tux.
Uh-huh.
Will you marry me?
It's very like Cowardly Lion, Wizard of Oz.
Oh yeah.
And in like the best possible way.
Yeah.
Without the racism.
God, I love that show.
It's so good.
Ready?
Oh yeah, baby.
Let's do it.
This song.
Then sang Moses and the children of Israel this song unto the Lord. COVID-19. 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 I blow the wind of God from the state of Washington to the state of Maine, Brownsville, Texas, and the tip.
Oh, what happened?
Oh no!
The new
fucking ad.
You got an ad.
Wow.
Nice call.
Well, now I hate Maroon 5 even more.
What?
You don't say that.
I don't know. Was that Adam whatever?
How does that, dude? Adam's a good dude, man.
He looked weird though.
He's just going through one of his phases.
Yeah, I don't mind Maroon 5. Welcome to the show, everybody. My thing came out of my headphones here.
Things are starting hot today.
I know. I'm not even gonna fix it.
There was all this action before we went live, and then
I know.
And now we're like,
welcome
what
to
are
the
we
show.
talking about now?
oh god,
I'm so sad that this happened though.
what happened?
That the video thing happened.
I don't think it's a big deal. I still don't know what this is.
You've not seen the original?
No.
It's literally what are they called? Evangelican or whatever?
Yeah, he's an evangelical Christian named Ken Copeland.
I'm gonna call him a ventriloquist.
He looks like the bad guy from
Dick
The Mask, who has like when he puts the mask on. So he did this whole thing, Zach, where he was praying away COVID-19, basically, and somebody took it and turned it into an internet remix, obviously.
That's the only thing you can do.
Well, this guy's saying, though, like, at the very start of the pandemic, he was saying, still pay your tithing.
Yeah, he's one of those crazy guys that he's one of those evangelicals that has like $1 billion, like he has jets and stuff.
So the guy they made the HBO show off of.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, he's like a big church guy. Yep. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Hey, everybody! Welcome to the show. Welcome to the program. Sports are coming back. Sports are coming back. That's what we're hearing. Do we know what NBA is doing yet with the playoffs? Like, have they have anything definitive yet? Like, there's a lot of debate, but
yeah, I know they had that meeting yesterday, but I think all that came from it is that they're going to now take it to a vote. So they didn't say what.
Okay.
Is it 16 teams? Is it 18 teams? In my opinion, you make it 18, and you don't say one extra from each conference. You say the West gets 2 more because that's what people care about. So that we can have a play-in game with the 2 West teams that are just barely not in, which would be the Portland Trail Blazers and the Pelicans, and you have them throw them on each side of the bracket and have them play for the the eighth spot.
Yeah,
on each side. So.
I mean, Damian Lillard's basically said that if they have no chance to make the playoffs, he's not going to play for the rest of the season.
And why would you?
No, I don't blame him at all. I don't blame him.
So say the Spurs have no chance of coming back. Greg Popovich is 72 years old. He's technically like an at-risk person. Why even put him in that situation? I actually truly believe that if they did expand it to 20 or more, and let all of those teams that are just barely not in contest, I think he would probably let Tim Duncan or Ham go and coach for him. I think that's probably going to happen either way. Because, why would you put yourself at risk? Texas was one of the first places to let players get back into the facility, and they did not even them and the Mavs were both like, no.
Right.
Which is awesome. I thought that was really cool of Mark Cuban as well, considering some of the things that have happened in the Dallas Maverick organization over the last couple of decades.
I mean, I totally understand what Damian Lillard's saying. He'll set it out. This whole season, because of so many cool things that were happening for the season, are such a bummer. I mean, I love that the Blazers had. I mean, I hated that they had such a rough start, but I love they were making such a cool comeback. We would have seen Nurk coming back right about a couple weeks ago. We would have seen. I think Collins would be back by now. Under the same token, I'm also for the next year, it's like, okay, well, we'll have Nurk and Collins, and they'll be healthy.
Yeah, the only thing that was kind of a bummer, because I know me and you were both enjoying it at least, is we were getting that the final ride of Carmelo Anthony, and makes you wonder if he'll come back next year and finish it. And if he does, is he even a Blazer still? Do they want him back? There's a lot of questions there. Yeah. I think if they can get the same production they got from him this year, why not?
Yeah, I think if they can get the same level of production from him, I think they want him back. I think they take him back. I don't know how he feels though.
Right.
I mean, I feel like he should feel like he should come back as a Blazer because the fans have open-armed welcomed him in. The team has open-armed welcomed him in. And that's a way better experience he's had at the last 2 franchises.
Yeah, anywhere else.
Yeah, anywhere else. So
where was he at before that?
Well, he was with the Rockets and the Thunder.
The proposed plan is 22 teams.
See, that's...
So
that's
the reason
hopeful,
I know
right?
this is I'm on ESPN.com, not DOCHO. I wish. And their ESPN Plus article is NBA playoff plans, biggest winners and losers in the 22-team return. So winners. Am I allowed to just read an article from a different source?
Yeah, no, go for it. Yeah.
I'm not going to say why, but I guess here's what I'll do. I'll say who they picked as winners and losers, and then not read any of the body of it, and we can speculate that for ourselves.
Yeah.
Well, that you're actually just talking about how we do articles as Americans, anyways. So let's just do that. We just read headlines as Americans, anyways.
You said your source, so I think you're in the clear.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I cited it. I'm not going to.
You did cite it.
Should I even say who wrote the article? Because it's Kevin Pelton. Good job.
Good
on you, Kevin.
Good job, Kevin.
Good on you, Kevin.
Thanks, Kevin. We're going to use this.
You fucking nerd.
You fucking nerd. We're going to use this, nerd.
Yeah, we're stealing this.
He's like the nerd that did our homework for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then, if the teacher came and started asking me questions on why I put the answers I did, and I'm like, I didn't read the.
I don't know. Ask Kevin.
Yeah, why'd you ask that fucking nerd Kevin? He screwed it up.
I want to hear this though. I want to hear the winners and losers from
winners. Obviously, the teams that I already just brought up, the Pelicans and the Trailblazers.
Mm-hmm.
That would make sense. Losers, Memphis Grizzlies, who were comfortably in that last spot, and now all of a sudden they're they were kind of teetering near the end, right? Memphis started really strong, really solidified themselves as a young playoff contender, and then they've slowly started to taper off. And now we have the Pelicans and the Blazers, who are both getting better and better by the week, or they were.
Well, I mean, they were. I mean, like it was really looking up for the Blazers and the Pelicans.
Yeah. So Zach Collins and Nurkic will both be back.
Yeah.
Really interesting. Yeah. So if they really do like a play-in for that 8th seed, that's rough. They actually think that the Lakers are also a loser. Without reading it, I'm only going to speculate it because they're probably going to have to play. I mean, if you think about it, say we're playing for 8th, right? And it's between the Grizzlies and the Blazers and the Pelicans. Whoever comes out of that is going to like have a play-in game or series under their belt. And then the Lakers are the 1 seed in the West, are going to have to play a team that's just coming off of like a battle, already playoff tested. And then obviously in the East, same thing. The Orlando Magic are the 8th seed. So I'm assuming if you're letting in those extra teams, they're mostly Western Conference teams. That means Orlando for their play-in game is probably going to have to play a team from the West, which means the 8th from the West is just always so much better than the 8th from the East.
Is this official then? Did they vote this in then? 22 teams?
I think they're doing an article on it because this is what's been proposed at this point.
Okay.
So and then obviously the winners goes a little deeper. Because the West has 5 teams that are outside of playoff contention, really, where the East really doesn't have any. So Pelicans, Blazers, Suns, Kings, and Spurs would join them in this hypothetical for these play-in rounds.
Yeah. Okay.
So this is really interesting. Obviously, as a Spurs fan, I'm pretty 50-50 because if this doesn't happen or if we lose right off the bat, lottery pick, baby. We're in the lottery. Right. When's the last time the Spurs have been in the lottery? Tim Duncan probably was the very last time 22 years ago.
The only thing that sucks about that is because of COVID-19. I don't even know, because as somebody who doesn't watch college basketball all year, I don't even know who the number 1 draft pick
this is, by the way, no one knows. This is a really bad draft class. Obviously,
I have no clue.
That's
probably Ball's brother.
Yeah, but he's already dropped all the way down to like 7th or 8th. There's a guy from Georgia that's the speculated number 1, and the dude's a beast. But
it just sucks because we didn't see March Madness, so nobody knows anything.
Which is also why we're seeing some people that aren't on those top tier teams, like someone from Georgia, someone from Dayton. People, LaMelo literally played in Australia. Yep. We're seeing these guys at the top of the draft because we don't have this like March Madness shine to make some other guys kind of skyrocket to the top. And then not only that, but we're also going into next year, which is like the super draft, right? Because like high schoolers will be allowed back in it. So you'll have the best 1-year college players and the best high schoolers all in the same draft class. Like it's going to be stacked.
So they did make that official? I believe so. It's not going to be one and done anymore?
No. That's the days of that I know are going to be over. It's just like I don't know if it's for sure that they're implementing it next year, but I think so.
That's crazy though. I mean I like it because it obviously I think it's a failed experiment.
Right, but the NCAA is considering making it so, which they've never done before, making it so in all the sports where if you decide to go pro early, you can always go back and have your scholarship now. So at least the NCAA is being less of a piece of shit. I
like that.
Yeah. So yeah, if you're a play-in team in the NBA, they're like a Blazers fan, a Spurs fan, Kings. I don't see the Kings making any noise anyway. So if you're the Kings, you almost would rather get kicked out early and get another lottery pick like they do every year. But like if you're a Spurs or a Blazers or a Pelicans fan, you could go either way. Like, could the Blazers really use a lottery pick? Sure. So could the Spurs. But they also have people like Damian Lillard, DeMar DeRozan, LaMarcus Aldridge, Carmelo Anthony. Like there's these veteran names on both teams that don't want to throw a season no matter what.
No. So. No, and especially since we added right before all this happened, we added Ariza and
right. You guys were gearing up for a playoff.
It was getting ready. Yeah,
Trevor Ariza still plays basketball.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, he's at risk.
How old is he
He's
now?
one of the high risk COVID people in the league, but him and Greg Popovich.
Yeah, Trevor Ariza
yeah.
is old as dirt.
How old is Ariza?
Like 35, 36.
Yeah.
He's ancient.
He's literally my age.
I mean, how old was Tim Duncan when he retired?
40.
That's old, right?
Yeah.
Pretty old.
Well, because him and Kobe both were going for, the long haul, those 20-year seasons.
I think if Kobe wouldn't have got
seasons,
hurt those 2 seasons, he probably would have played longer.
I don't know if he would have played longer, but he would have played at a higher level when he did play.
Yeah.
He would have broke those records that he was sneaking.
It was pretty obvious when he was done. It was just because he was ready to move on with his life.
Yeah.
With his family and stuff, which is like the saddest part I think about it. Because I mean, in that final game, he showed he's just an absolute beast. He put up 60 points in the last game he ever played. Yeah. So this wasn't like the Jordan farewell tour where when he was with the Wizards, they were almost worried that he was going to ruin his career points per game average because if he would have never came out of retirement, he was one of the few players that ever retired with 30 plus points a game as an average. Jordan had that. So they statistically figured out, here's how many points you need to score each game as a Washington Wizard in your final year to not ruin that.
And he did it, right?
He stayed above. Yeah, it was like
he had to stay above. He in his final game, I think actually was against the Blazers, was it?
Yeah, I think so.
I think so. I think he had a nasty game against them too.
Nasty.
Oh yeah, I think I have to look that up.
Haven't got to talk about the documentary yet.
No.
Because I actually watched it all.
Oh, you finished it?
Yep.
I enjoyed it a lot. I mean, it's hard to call a documentary.
It's not, but it's
a Michael-mentary.
Yeah. It's whatever Michael Jordan wanted it to be.
I still enjoyed it. I understand and see the criticism, but I still think it's very enjoyable. I also think it's what we needed right now. I think it's what we needed. We needed to see some nostalgia from the 90s. We needed to see some MJ nostalgia, and we all needed it, especially in the timing that it came out. I see the criticism. I get it. And I understand the people who are irritated by it.
Uh-huh.
But it's still good. I liked it.
I had no problem with it at all. I thought it was great, actually. Not enough Space Jam talk for me, but the rest of it was very good.
I mean, did they have any Space Jam talk?
No. They basically just said... there is the section of it where they talk about how he was stuck on the movie set of Space Jam, so he brought all the best NBA players to him, which was
true.
Badass.
I still think they should have done more with Space Jam, though.
Yeah, like I didn't see Bill Murray. I only saw Bill Murray one time.
Yeah, they showed him a couple times just so that he was all about like Jordan mania, like he was at a lot of the games.
Well, yeah, man, the guy's he's a Chicago native, isn't he? Because he's a huge Cubs fan.
Yeah,
right.
It hurts my heart that he's a Cubs fan.
I like the Cubs.
Fuck the Cubs.
I don't like any Chicago team, like even a little bit, but
no. Fuck the.
But I like Bill Murray, and I don't care what he likes.
Yeah. That's fair.
Well,
and every kid was kind of a Bulls fan because everyone was kind of a Jordan fan. So here's what I thought when I'm watching the documentary. I thought this. Because I always like hate the top team. Like we all as Americans naturally like you either love or you hate the powerhouse in every sport. Mm-hmm. Like the Warriors are a great example. LeBron individually is a great example. Where especially when LeBron was in his 20s, I just fucking hated him. When he was a Heat, hated him. Before he was a Heat, the first time he played the Spurs in 2007, hated him. Didn't understand the hype. Makes me wonder if I was my age during the Jordan era, if I would have actually makes me wonder if I was my age during the Jordan era, if I would have liked him or not. Because I loved him as a kid, but if I was me now during all that, if I would have been like, guys, I think he's overrated.
No, you'd hate him. You would hate him, and then you'd pick apart, you'd probably be like, well, he has Scottie Pippen, he has this, he has this. You would do that.
The Bulls, I would say, are like the last time I've like like completely given into like a bandwagon stuff. Like I mean, because as a kid you don't have any filter. You're just like you're gonna like what you like.
Right.
And as a kid, I loved the Bulls. I mean, I love that team. As a kid, which is why we had to do a whole thing on our show to help me find a team, because as a kid I loved the Bulls, and then I loved Steve Nash, and I would just watch whatever team Steve Nash was on. So I liked the Mavericks and the Suns, and even the Lakers for a season. I tried watching them when he was on.
Guy. That broke my heart.
Didn't work out. Should have been cool. But it wasn't cool.
That team should have won a championship.
Should have been cool, but it was not.
He would have done it a couple years sooner. Could have been a different story.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Or, if the league wouldn't have blocked a Chris Paul trade, they would have done it with a different point guard.
I don't want to talk about it.
But I don't want to. Steve Nash is still my favorite player, and it's a shame. So I mean, like the Suns could have easily been my favorite team, except for I just like Steve Nash.
Right, so, now they have no appeal to you, probably.
Nah, I don't care. I'm all in on the Blazers now. I'm good with them. I'm good with the choice I've made as a team, and I'm good with following who I'm following. But I guess like that's like the whole thing. Like the Bulls were like the last team where I was like, this is the team. I mean, I remember my mom was dating this guy who's from Seattle, and we went and watched when they played Seattle in the finals. We went to Seattle, and his whole family was rooting for the Sonics, and I was a kid, and I'm like, you guys are rooting for that? Even in Seattle. I mean, because I didn't understand. I just didn't get it. I'm like, you guys are rooting for Seattle?
But MJ.
But Michael Jordan. Like, why would you not? I mean, there was this poster. I remember that thing where you're supposed to sell chocolate. You're supposed to sell chocolates as a kid. In grade school, they make you go out and sell chocolate. And one of the prizes was a Michael Jordan poster. And I was like, I want that Michael Jordan poster. I remember being a kid being like, I want that Michael Jordan poster, which I did get. I don't have it now, but so I don't know. I mean, maybe you would be that way. I mean, I don't know. Maybe if I was an adult now, because I think you're right. I don't like the Golden State Warriors, and I hate the Patriots. So
I think I still would have liked Michael Jordan, but I still would have been a Spurs fan. Because what's funny is going back and watching the documentary, I'm like, man, because they show the Spurs a couple times, even when they're talking about Rodman and then a few other scenarios. And I go, man, I fucking love those. Like, even the old players, like, I loved them. Even before we had Pop, I liked that team. So, like, I even remember being a kid being like, oh, I love Michael Jordan. And then I'm like, but I really like this other team. And so I think I'd probably be the same now. And I would just really like Jordan.
And actually, to parrot that a little bit too, I also remember liking Clyde Drexler too.
Yeah, I used to love Clyde as well.
Yeah. The
other thing about the NBA is you can still love your team and then still really love a player that's not on your team. Yeah. A great example of that is I used to love young Carmelo Anthony.
Yeah,
like right when he went to the Knicks or before that when he played for the Nuggets. I've always disliked the Nuggets, and I still liked him then. And another great example is I liked Kevin Durant all the way up until he was a Warrior. He was my favorite player in the league.
I love Kevin Durant.
Kevin Durant was my top favorite player until he went to the Warriors. And honestly, now that he's a Net, he's probably back in my top 5.
Yeah. Ugh.
Yeah, he's back in my top 5.
Actually, another great example for me would probably be I haven't ever really liked any team that he was on, but I love Allen Iverson.
I agree. Allen Iverson was probably my second or third favorite player growing up.
Dude, you go watch some of the compilations people put together about AI highlights on YouTube.
Well, that
dude is a fucking beast.
There's that rookie season where he, before he was cornrow Allen Iverson, he was just fresh out of college, and he fucking breaks Michael Jordan's ankles on a play, and you're just like, this kid's a rookie.
God, he was so good. Plus, he has one of probably my favorite press conferences ever, which is the practice. Yeah, I'm talking about practice.
He is also the shortest player in the history of the NBA to win an MVP.
Yeah. God, he was amazing.
I thought it'd be Steve Nash, and that's when I found out that Steve Nash is taller than I originally anticipated.
That's crazy. I did not know that Steve Nash was taller than Allen Iverson.
By 4 inches. Allen Iverson is dead 6 foot even, which is insane. And Steve Nash is actually more like 6'4", 6'3", 6'4". He's like Steph Curry height.
I had no idea.
The more you know.
I was thinking.
Yeah, you're right. I'm looking at his Wikipedia right now. 6 foot 0 inches. Wow, right at 6 foot. Allen Iverson. Today I learned Allen Iverson is shorter than I am. I had no idea. Wouldn't even have guessed it.
Yeah, you would look tall compared to Allen Iverson.
That's crazy to me, because the dude when he played, I mean, like you said, like the Michael Jordan, just watching him break everyone's ankles, just of how he played. Like, God, he could just psych people out so good. And
but that's
even his scoring. I mean, his scoring is amazing, but the passes, Jesus, the passes, like, man, he was a cool player.
But that's even why by the time Allen Iverson was like 32, he was like washed up, because he was, and he just put his body in the paint and got beat up almost every game.
Yeah,
he's like basically the Michael Vick of.
Well, and actually, doesn't the Michael Vick?
Am I cut?
Yeah, you cut out a little bit. You cut out just a little bit there. I actually knew what you were saying, though. Ironically enough, didn't that last Michael Vick documentary even talk about that a little bit too? Well,
they're from the same area.
Yeah. Well, and then also they're just similar in how they kind of changed and tweaked stuff. And
well, and Allen Iverson was the high school's quarterback before Vick was. So, like, there's a lot of parallels between the two.
That's crazy.
And I also love them both, but that's neither here nor there.
As do
I. What would be interesting, though, another thing, speaking of Kevin Durant, is the Nets might have Kevin Durant. They're still saying they won't play him, but with this layoff, why would you not play him?
Yeah.
Like, if he's healthy,
right now, right?
If he's been practicing at least. If he's healthy, I don't see why you sit him till next year. You could win a championship this year. Like, it's not crazy to think about. You have Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant. And
I mean, everybody's waiting for it. Everybody's waiting to see what Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant can do together.
I am waiting to see what Kyrie and anybody can do together, because it seems like every team has gotten better without Kyrie except for one Cavaliers team.
I mean, before Kyrie went to the Nets, I really thought there was a chance that he could go to the Lakers and reunite.
Well, I think everyone thought that.
I wanted it really badly.
Well, I mean, they even kind of, they've squashed their beef, and him and LeBron, and man, I really thought there was a chance you could see it.
I like the idea of him going and doing its own thing, and I like. Yeah. It sucks because like I said earlier, I was starting to like Kevin Durant again because he left Golden State, but then I'm like, I can't like him all the way because he plays with Kyrie, and I just don't really. I'm just not a Kyrie guy. I can't get on board.
Is it the flat Earth stuff?
Yeah, it's probably the flat Earth stuff.
I mean, I say it jokingly, but also kind of serious. For me, it's a little bit the flat Earth stuff.
It might be a lot the flat Earth stuff. It might not just be a little bit of it.
I mean, I often forget about it, but now that you say it, yeah, it's probably the flat Earth stuff.
It's annoying. It's annoying to me. It's annoying to me that he's so stupid.
But he's also
or that
smart.
He's such a troll. Like, I don't know if he's serious or a troll. I feel like he's serious, but
now if you told
he could
me
be trolling.
Now if you told me J.R. Smith thought the Earth was flat, I'd be like, okay, yeah,
yeah, for sure. But even he's like, that would be dumb.
Yeah. But even J.R. Smith thinks it's stupid.
The other, besides for the Nets, what I've been really curious about is this layoff, because everyone's going to be a little rusty. Like, who is it really going to favor? Does it favor the veterans, or does it favor the young guys who are they can bounce back really quick? And I want to lean towards the veterans. They've been here before. Probably a lot of the veterans just have more money, so they have gyms in their house.
Yeah.
I think they're going to be, I don't know. I could see this giving teams like Portland and San Antonio chances to get back in it, where it could do the opposite for teams like Sacramento, who are too young, the Pelicans, who are very young, where they have a lot of young guys that might not have been doing the same thing with this time off.
I know. I mean, how much has Zion been working out?
Oh, it'll be interesting to see Zion's weight when he gets back after it.
Is Zion put on the COVID-19 pounds?
I don't know. I don't know if they've showed it. Like social media videos of him, yes, but like full like head to toe videos and pictures. I don't know what he looks like. He's probably he's probably a little chonky.
But maybe they're all.
Wouldn't it be awesome if just everyone was a little fat right now and we just got to watch? It just looks like a pickup game.
Well, you saw that video of Lonzo working out, right? Oh, he looks shredded.
Speaking of working out, have you guys seen the stuff for James Conner for the Steelers? Jesus Christ.
No.
Dude, the guy's yoked right now.
Like I have Christian McCaffrey yoked or what?
We can amongst yourselves. I'll look it up.
I saw the Christian McCaffrey two-handed catch behind his back thing that he did, which was pretty cool. That was one of the few videos I've watched of sports during this whole like layoff.
I might try to get that homie fantasy.
I would, if you're playing in PPR and you have the first pick, getting anyone but Christian McCaffrey is stupid.
Yeah, and guess what?
What?
I didn't have the first pick. Actually, I had the third pick. I only play in one PPR league, but I had the third pick. I don't remember who I got.
I think just having him by himself, no matter who you do like the rest of the draft with, he's just so consistent. You're at an automatic advantage. I used to hate picking first because, especially on a snake draft where you have to wait forever to get that second and third pick.
Yeah.
Really was not a fan, but there in PPR there's just so much value. If it's like a standard league, I'd prefer to be somewhere like fourth, or eighth. But,
oh, is that what this picture is? I think I saw this picture on NFL.
Wait, what is happening?
Hold on. I'm trying to fix it. My share screen didn't work.
I saw this picture. It looks weird.
Yeah, did the guy?
It looks unnatural. His arms don't look right in this picture. I thought it was a fake picture when I first scrolled by it.
No, it's real.
But yeah, PPR league, man. If you can get that.
What?
Yeah. Who is he trying to be like? What is he trying to accomplish?
It looks like someone put Captain America's shield in his back.
Yeah. What is he trying to do?
I don't know.
Do you need to be that big as a running back? Or do you think it will help him stay healthy and not get hurt having that?
I mean, I do think that is
that muscular of a back.
I do think it's. I was trying to find his front too. It's ridiculous, but there's a bunch of pictures of him, and it's. Okay, here we go.
Guys, I lost you all together. My internet's so bad right now.
Is it raining down there?
Huh?
Is it raining?
No.
I actually am surprised I haven't lost power.
Yeah, mine's just cutting out and like it's pretty gnarly.
Jeez.
So that one before, I think it was just like a combination of the angle and the way he was
standing,
flexing his back. Yeah, camera angle.
Still terrifying looking.
Yeah, the dude's yoked right now though.
Like it doesn't actually look like he has bat wings for lats in every photo.
No. I do hope that he is healthy though, which would be great. And then especially since we have another running back, I'm hoping we can see some cool stuff happening there.
Man, fuck the Steelers.
Nope.
Nope, not allowed.
Nope, not on this show.
I just don't like Ben Roethlisberger. I like James Conner. I like Juju, man. I love Juju.
Juju had a picture on social media where it was him and his cat or dog or something, and they showed his feet and his feet in socks, and got his feet just look. He had these They commented on his bunions, like the guy. It looks like he's in pain.
I just can't even.
Just from being alive.
Just
yeah.
Just from having those feet.
Like you can equate his feet to like Calvin Johnson's hands and just be like, oh man, it looks like it hurts.
That's someone I miss.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Calvin Johnson could have been amazing. I mean, he was amazing. I mean, he's like Barry Sanders. It's just very unfortunate for the team that he was on.
Yeah, he was a Lion forever, and that's I don't know why, but I've been thinking about that a little more than usual lately. Maybe it's because of the Jordan documentary, and you think about all the people that couldn't win championships just because they were in the Jordan era, you know?
Yeah.
And then it made me think about some of the other sports and some of the other eras. So yesterday they were showing the NFC wild card game between the Packers and the 49ers when the Packers had Brett Favre and the Niners had Steve Young, Garrison Hurst. It's actually a 49ers team that was one of the first ones I ever grew up watching. Steve Mariucci was the coach. Brett Favre actually had like this really white trash goatee at the time. And I was watching that game and I go, man, okay, so this is the year that the Packers end up making the Super Bowl. And it just makes you think like, man, that Niners team was really good. Like that was like near the end of Steve Young's career, but like they probably had one more run left in them. If you think about it, a lot of those players from that 49ers team ended up trickling over to that Jeff Garcia led team from the 49ers. And they were still a playoff team, even with Jeff Garcia.
I have Jeff Garcia jersey.
Oh, that's cool.
That my dad gave me.
I don't know why, but I loved Jeff Garcia. Because he was like the most anti-athlete. The dude seemed like he should be like a cyclist or a tennis player, not a
football
quarterback in the NFL. By the way, the first half of the Lance Armstrong 30 for 30 was sensational.
Is it good?
He is such a prick, man. And you get to like really see how much of just a total prick he was. And then, I don't know. He's not holding anything back. I mean, every single cyclist in the world is in that documentary, and they're like, yeah, we were all cheating. Every single one of us. Like, had to.
How do you cheat in the cycling competition?
Huh?
Steroids.
Oh, steroids.
Yeah, so they talk about the drug. It's actually what the drug they were actually on. What it does is it increases your red blood cell count, so the red blood cells can carry oxygen. Right. It's something that literally like was completely untraceable at the time. Every single cyclist was doing it, and if you refused to do it, they basically told you day one of your career professionally, if you're not doing this, there's no place for you on this team. That you're never going to make it. Because I mean, it increases your performance. They say roughly about it's a 10% difference. So there's no way you could possibly compete with a whole field that was using it, no matter how gifted you were. So you take Lance Armstrong, who's probably the most like naturally gifted out of all of them, put him on the stuff, and I mean, dude couldn't lose. But it also just gets into the fact that before this drug was invented, they were just cheating on other stuff before. They like cycling has never not been a cheating sport, and it's really interesting to watch. And they followed what they did with the Jordan documentary, where if you watch on ESPN, it's completely uncensored. And Lance Armstrong loves to fucking cuss, and it's
really
the dude.
I have a friend that really likes his podcast.
So it just brings up a really interesting point, like. And I think they're going to get into it in tomorrow night's like part 2, which is like, is he like a bad guy who just also happened to get cancer and then do good things with it? Or is he a good guy that just also did bad things like cheating? And like, I think everyone in the documentary is like, I mean, how do you know? He's probably a piece of shit, but how do you know?
You never will.
I've listened to an episode of his podcast and he seems okay.
I think he's a real piece of shit, but or at least he was. Some people in their later years are better, and the documentary starts with an example of how he's at least changed. And it's a really good example, and it's like you can tell like right off the bat he's not going to hold back anything in the doc, and that's why I think it's really good. So
I'll have to check it out.
30 for 30.
Is that 30 for 30?
Yep, so it's just a two-part episode. Last week was 2 hours. This week is 2 hours. Similar to the Vic one, 2-hour episodes.
Yep.
And then Be Water, which is the Bruce Lee one, will be the following week. And then
I have that one. Yeah, I have that one stored away. I'm really excited about that one.
And then the one after that is the 2-week episode for the Sammy Sosa summer that they were both just cheating and just both chasing the home run record together. So,
which they revoked that, right?
Well, I mean, neither of them kept the record anyways, because then Barry Bonds cheated and took it from both of them. But
yeah, but do those guys don't even count, right?
No, they don't count.
The Babe only counts.
Well, yeah, who knows?
How close has Cody Bellinger been to break? Who got the top last year?
So the thing about home runs is, like, the league in general hits way more home runs now than they used to.
Right.
But no one individually approaches those numbers. Like, no one's going to hit 70 home runs in a season, but you're going to have way more people hitting 50 because the analytics tell you go for a home run every time now.
Uh-huh.
And it's a completely analytic-driven game now. That's why it's so boring.
It's so boring.
There's a bunch of stuff. There's even books that talk about how analytics are the death of baseball, right? Like, the Moneyball concept of baseball ruined baseball. The analytic-driven, they just tell people exactly where to stand based off of the person who's at the plate's analytics, and it's either an out or a home run every time.
I wonder how many home runs Ken Griffey Jr. would have hit had he not gotten hurt. Because he hit 630 home runs in his career. Which is nuts. That's still a lot.
Last year's, yeah, okay. The LA Dodgers, like, rookie, I think is second year, third year. He's just crazy. He hit 47 home runs last year.
So that's the thing, is you're gonna get a lot of people around those numbers now, but we're not gonna see someone like 60s, 70s anymore. I don't think. Could be wrong, but I just don't feel like that's.
Well, the top guy had 53. Pete Alonso.
Right, they're going to be in the 50s now. Like, you can win a batting title or, a home run race or anything like that now just in the 50s.
Yeah.
It's just you're not going to see it because people aren't on steroids anymore. And if they are, they've gotten a lot better at cycling off of them. But, yeah, I just don't think it's going to happen. You can just generally look at a baseball player in general now and go, oh, yeah, these guys aren't the roided out freak shows of the early 2000s or late 90s.
I just love watching, like, really amazing pitchers get up to bat because they always just suck balls.
Yeah, but wasn't it awesome watching old man Bartolo Colon after like 20 plus years of pitching finally hit a home run last season in his 40s?
Oh, man.
That was so cool.
He's still going to play again. You know that, right?
Yeah, he said he wants to come back next year.
He wants to play again? I fucking let him play, man. Who cares? If he can still pitch.
Well, and it's like the Mets, right? So it's like,
yeah,
they don't have 5 good pitchers.
I love him. I don't care. I love Cologne. Let him play.
Oh, he's the man.
I love him.
And the only time I ever start watching baseball is playoffs. You
start at playoffs?
Yeah, I don't. I mean, I keep track of scores, but I don't, or keep track of standings, but I don't try to watch a game.
I try to get quite a few games in before the All-Star break because depending on who your team is, like, it's a completely different season after the All-Star break. Like, certain teams like the Mariners just start tanking after the All-Star break every year.
For me as a Mariners fan, I have to watch the beginning of the season because that's the only time I have hope during the whole year.
It might be the only games that matter all season, yeah. And then depending on what moves your team makes, maybe after the All-Star break, it's really nice. And that's always when they make that decision of, are they going to go for it or are they going to bail on the year? And
yeah.
We see it every season. And if you're a Mariners fan, you literally see the bail on every year, every time.
Oh, my God.
They never commit.
Nope.
They never commit to going
for it. We've been in a rebuild since 2001.
Weren't the Mariners supposed to be really good last year or the year before?
Or any of them?
Not last year, but the year before they were.
Yeah, no, last year I think everyone knew they were going to stink, but then they kind of overachieved at the beginning.
Yeah, they did.
And then like a month later, you're like, oh, yeah, there they are.
Oh, there's the Mariners.
But the year before, they had Robbie Cano, Nelson Cruz, Edwin Diaz. I mean, it should have been a really good team. Mitch Haniger. Right. I mean,
once again, I think they started off pretty good.
They did start off good, yeah.
And then by All-Star break, you're like, oh, yeah, these guys are throwing the rest of it.
Yep. It was a shame.
Yeah, they've wasted a lot of careers in Seattle.
Yeah, they have. I mean,
a lot of good baseball careers.
Yeah, I mean Felix Hernandez. I feel bad for the guy. We wasted his whole prime. I mean, every year that we could have got out of somebody, they destroyed his career. Felix Hernandez. It's too bad because he's a really good pitcher. He was a really good pitcher. Wasted his whole prime in a shitty Seattle.
Not upset about it.
Not bummed.
That team fucking pisses me off more than any team. If I'm like the most love-hate Mariner fan. Well, no, I think all of us are at this point. Like we fucking hate that team, but we love them.
The proper word is jaded.
Yeah, yeah. We just know it's gonna be bad. I mean,
every '90s song was about how you feel, brother.
Yeah, Aerosmith made a song called "Jaded" for you.
Yeah, they did. I think eventually. Eventually, Portland will get a team, and I think a lot of Mariners fans will be like, "Well, let's try rooting for somebody else at some point."
Maybe they should just move the Mariners to Portland.
Nah, they're pretty safely nestled in there based off of their ownership. But
yeah,
I would just love to watch Seattle lose every team they have.
See, Major League Baseball is actually the one sport I don't see expanding anytime soon. Like, I don't see anyone else getting a new team. I just don't see it. Yeah, baseball's not expanding. No. They can't.
I know they're trying. They've tried to get a Portland team before, and they still talk about it. It's just I just don't see it happening.
I think for sure the next sport. Well, soccer expands every year just because of how fast it's growing in America. But the next sport that's going to expand that actually counts for anything is NBA for sure. Like they talk about it every year, how they just want to keep growing. So
yeah, I think Seattle will actually eventually get an NBA team again.
But obviously, with like COVID, it's all stifled. Nothing's going to grow probably for a year or two. It just wouldn't make any sense. Like why build a brand new stadium and add a whole other team where
hockey, NBA and hockey.
Well, so hockey just got. Like, if you think about it, Seattle just got totally screwed. Like, they just get a team,
they did.
And then now they can't put fans in the seats. Yeah. I don't know how that impacts them. You know what I mean? Like, because it is their first year. Like, you expect to take losses anyways. But
well, I don't know, man. I mean, like, you look at how are they picking the team the same way the Golden Knights were able to, or what? Because Golden Knights expansion team went to the Cup.
I think it just shows there's a lot of really good farm systems in hockey too.
Well, I think that's really cool. Is like obviously the teams get to protect a certain amount of players, right?
Right.
But it just proves that there's also so many good players. There's not just one star on a hockey team. I mean, there's
and obviously they were able to get Fleury from the Penguins, and it just shows like Murray was ready to take over that role, and then now like even Murray's backup is a total stud as well, and he's almost like there's teams that like the Penguins that just have a wealth of talent that you can get really good players from, and not every hockey team is like that. Obviously, there's the Penguins like farm systems almost like the Yankees in certain ways. But
did Seattle ever land on a name?
No, I heard about the Krakens and all that stuff.
Sucks. But that's so.
Stupid.
I hope that's the name they get.
That's so stupid.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to like them. I'm not going to like them either way, so I hope it's a bad name.
I mean, it doesn't matter who they choose because I'm not going to just jump ship. I'm a Ducks fan, and that's what I like.
The Golden Knights is a cool fucking name.
That's fine. Yeah.
And their whole all their gear, their mascot, their whole thing is cool.
Yeah, it worked out well for them.
So, think about that, man. A Kraken would be so sick.
The part where stupid.
It'd be so sick.
It'd be cool.
The players skate out of the Kraken.
Stupid.
The tentacles start waving, and then they come out from
the arm. You could have like
all the arms are like the wacky waving inflatable arm flailing tube man.
Like it's about to spray ink, but instead it just sprays out players.
Stupid.
No,
stupid.
What would be funnier is like in Nashville how they throw the fish on the ice. Instead, people just threw squids on the ice or something like just really gross and weird.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It ruins that piece of the ice forever.
I don't know. I don't know what else they could do. I don't care. I'm not going to be a Seattle hockey fan. It's not going to happen.
I mean,
I mean, I welcome other people because I want more hockey fans. I mean, I welcome you if you don't have a team right now and Seattle gets a team going. Fucking join, jump in. The people who jumped in and are Knights fans, Golden Knights fans, welcome to the party, man. It's been fun.
But remember, your team's not always going to be this good, you fucking cocksuckers.
Yeah,
No.
they'll probably suck really soon, you pieces of shit.
It's impressive. It's impressive that they were so good so fast.
Yeah, it was cool. But I feel like that's not. You got to go through the pain before you get to the top, man. It was just ugh.
Yeah, unless you decided when you were a young boy that you were going to be a Pittsburgh Penguins fan, and then just everything's been nice.
Dusty's the only Ottawa fan I've ever met,
and the only, without going to Ottawa, the only fan you'll ever will meet. But that's also kind of cool, in my opinion.
I like it. No, I like it.
I like it too. Like he didn't just pick like a stereotypical team that the rest of us would have picked.
I like the Pens. I like the Pens also because I'm a Steelers fan, so it helps.
Right.
But I grew up. I'm a Ducks fan. I mean, I was a Mighty Ducks fan, but I'm a Ducks fan.
What do you think about their playoff? 24 teams. We're like, let's just let them all in, except for these 6 pieces of shit. Like,
I think it's fine.
I think it's great. I know some people criticize like you're bringing too many players, but
I don't give a shit. Who cares? Fucking do it.
Yeah.
Well, at this point, it's like at this point, it's ruined. Just get something going. Like just
right.
Yeah, I mean, whatever team wins anything this year is going to have an asterisk on it.
Yeah.
Right, and it's not the same as like I heard the television comparing it to like the shortened season that the San Antonio Spurs won. No, because the playoffs still started at a regular time. They still had all the rounds. They played 20 less regular season games. But
that's
I don't
way
think
different.
But no one puts an asterisk on that game or that season. No one puts an asterisk to them.
People are going to put an asterisk. Never think about that.
Yeah, people put an asterisk on every single sport that happens this year. Guaranteed they will. I think about it, and here's fucking why. At the end of The Last Dance, and I want to talk about this before the episode ends because I even had to hear about it at work the next day because, well, one, most people don't think I'm a Spurs or don't realize I'm a Spurs fan, or two, just it's how The Last Dance ends. They talk about.
Do you not wear that hat to work? Do you not wear that hat to work?
Oh, I bleed this hat. I don't know what that means.
Do you go hatless at work?
Sometimes. Not.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Depends on the weather.
Yeah, it depends how I'm feeling. I mean, it doesn't matter now. I'm working at home probably forever, so it'll never matter. I'm hatless all the time now. Probably pantsless. But anyways, end of The Last Dance. They talk about what if they would have kept the team together for one more year, and then they like speculate. Oh well, they probably wouldn't have lost Pippen then. They probably wouldn't have lost Kerr. They probably wouldn't have lost Rodman, right? Like they would have kept the team together. They probably could have gotten one more championship. So the very next day at work, I go in and people say, man, I really wish they would have kept it together for one more year so they could have won one more championship. One, that's a stupid fucking argument because you would have been like 9 years old then and you would not have cared if they kept it together for one more year. The only reason you're even thinking about it is this documentary.
Yeah, I didn't even notice it.
Two,
yeah,
Kerr, the very next year, Kerr went to the goddamn Spurs, and they won a championship, and that's the only way things could have worked out, so suck a butt.
Yeah, so you like, fuck you!
Yeah. Things happened the only way they could have.
And
guess what? And guess what? If the Spurs didn't get Kerr, they still would have beaten the Bulls in that championship, guys. Keep the Bulls together. Spurs would have won it.
Okay.
I'll die on that cross.
Who did the Spurs play and win?
They played the Knicks. And the Knicks were like a dumpster fire team, too. Like, they were like the last team in the East and somehow went all the way to the championship. And
who was coach? Was Pop there?
Yeah, it was Pop, baby boy Tim Duncan, Avery Johnson, Sean Elliott, Steve Kerr, obviously like the Admiral. But yeah, it was pretty.
But no Ginobili,
No, this was long before Ginobili.
No
Ginobili actually. No, Parker would have been 13 or 14 years old at the time.
Fucking crazy.
Yeah, like there's like 3 players. Doc Rivers like was a Spur in the 90s. Like people that are coaches now.
That's crazy to me.
Yeah, so Doc River was there. Jaren Jackson Jr., the second-year player from the Memphis Grizzlies, who's really good. His dad was a Spur in the 90s. I mean, it's kind of crazy to think about when you go back and watch those old. But either way, I would have loved for them to play. Like if they would have kept the Bulls together, minus Steve Kerr, we wanted him. That would have been an awesome finals.
So Kerr has how many championships as a player then? Because he won how many with the Bulls?
He was a part of the second wave, so those 3. He wasn't a part of the first couple. They still had Paxson.
But he won 3 with the Bulls.
And one with the Spurs.
And then one with the Spurs.
And then
that's crazy.
And then he coached for 3.
And then he's coached for 3. That's impressive.
See, that's the other thing is
that's a
say
career.
He doesn't go to the Spurs, right? So say the Last Dance is right, and they come back together for one more year, and he never goes to the Spurs, and he never meets Coach Pop, who ended up being like his coaching mentor, and he never learns to coach like Pop. Does he ever coach the Warriors? Does anything else ever happen? So,
but then think about that too. He played under Phil Jackson,
Coach Pop. He played under the two best coaches that ever lived.
Right, for sure, hands down.
That's crazy.
Like you're talking about someone with 9 rings and someone with 5. Yeah, it's pretty.
That's crazy.
Those guys combined is just a filthy circle.
That's disgusting. No wonder why the fucking Golden State Warriors are so good.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, it's not confusing, especially after, I don't know.
I mean, I always knew. I mean, when they started doing all the threes all the time, I was like, well, it's because they have. I mean, in my head, I was always like, oh, it's because they have Kerr. Because he likes shooting threes. I knew he liked it as a player. So all of his teams shooting threes. I'm like, oh, it's because he likes shooting threes.
And everyone knows, this Warriors team that we all know now, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, like that, where it began, right? That everyone gives the ownership now and the coaching now and everyone that credit. But really, that was Don Nelson still when he came over from the Mavericks. Old man Don Nelson, one of the greatest coaches of all time, drafted fucking Curry. Then his predecessor, Mark Jackson, who longtime ESPN color commentator, right? He actually, at one point in time, him and Kerr were rotating color commentary on ESPN. So it was just funny when they were like, we're going to step away from Mark Jackson, who just got them to the playoffs. We're going to step away after a playoff season and bring in Steve Kerr. You go, why? Mark Jackson, the players love him. He's really developed Curry. He's really developed Klay Thompson. He's helping develop Draymond. Why move away from him? And then you see how many threes Steph Curry comes out with the next season, wins a couple of MVPs, and you're like, oh, yeah, Kerr, that made sense.
I mean, do you think, I mean, I hear the argument a lot, and it's like, does Steph Curry belong in a Rushmore as far as game changers for players? And it's like, I mean, yes, you could argue yes, because every team is going with this 3-shot now, and you see so many young players now that they're going with those they go with threes. I mean, he's changed it for sure, but I mean, a lot of players still. I hate to bring them up, but I mean, a lot of players still watched Steve Nash and still wanted to go with that too. It's that's why you see so many assists in the league too.
The one thing about Curry is just ultimately at the end of his career, he will just be underrated. I think his impact.
I think so too.
His impact will be understood, but kind of like Steve Nash, who also has 2 MVPs. Mm-hmm. People don't really think of either of them as a 2 MVP guy. This guy was so good that he won 2. Giannis might get his second one this year, right? And then he'll be in that category, obviously. But otherwise, other than that, the only people that have more than one are the elite of the elite, right?
Yeah.
The LeBrons, the Michaels, people like that.
Right.
And then they just stop giving it to you eventually because they get tired of it and they, let someone new win it. So then Westbrook gets one and Harden gets one. And
I feel like now they don't let you have more than 2.
Right. And I'd actually be really surprised if, I mean, I shouldn't be, but I'll be really surprised if Giannis gets back-to-back just because they just don't like to give it to people back-to-back. But his numbers are better than LeBron's this year. And Damian Lillard said 2 days ago on whatever radio show he was on that he's like, absolutely has to be LeBron. It's but why? He doesn't even have the best stats on his team.
Right.
I don't understand that, but they don't like to give it to someone back-to-back years anymore.
And it's weird to come from Damian Lillard, considering he's pretty much carried that team on his back. I mean, like, if you're really going like MVP as far as like,
right?
I mean, as far as them coming, I mean, like Damian Lillard is to me a contender. Granted, I have the bias of being a fan of the team, but I mean, like, he's carried the team.
Yeah, but
I mean, I look at players like that.
I do understand his argument, though. Like, the Lakers are a pretty old team this year, and LeBron is definitely their leader. They're the best team in the West. He's completely changed his game to be this like power forward point guard.
That's true.
Best assist year of his career. He's gotten way better at shooting threes over the last couple seasons. He's completely morphed himself. Like, it's almost like you have to have some sort of brand new award just for whatever LeBron James has done.
I know.
Like, most transformational player, right? Like,
what would that be? Most MTP? Yeah, MTP.
MTP.
Yep. Love it.
We'll start giving that out every year on the show.
Maybe we should do that. Yeah, maybe we should do that.
Well, you know who it would have been a couple years ago? It would have been like Robin Lopez, when even though he's been a center his whole career, he just all of a sudden started draining threes last season for Milwaukee, like out of nowhere. One season shot more threes than his entire career. Like, that's an MTP, baby.
Yeah.
And then there's players that you and I have talked about that we wish would do it. I wish Ben Simmons, man, fucking work on that shot on the off season. I mean, if he would just.
But I think some people just either have it or they don't. Like, I think Robin always had a pretty shot for a 7'1" guy. This year, it would have been LaMarcus Aldridge. Midway through the season, they said, hey, I know you're like a center, but start shooting threes. And then the Spurs started rapidly winning way more games than they were the first half of the year, to the point where you're like, why didn't he always do that? They both have beautiful shots for big guys. Yeah. Ben Simmons, when he starts shooting deep, you're like, that's a pretty fucking ugly shot.
Yeah,
so
it's icky. It's an icky shot.
Maybe that's what he's been doing with his COVID break.
Maybe.
Yeah, I doubt it.
I doubt it. He's probably
who is an uglier shot, Ball or Simmons?
I think his ball looks uglier, but it's a good shot. Like, it goes in.
It's a better shot. Yeah.
I love the way Lonzo shoots.
Lonzo's shot it looks ugly though, but he makes more. He does.
It's got a hitch to it. That's what they refer to it as. Like, it's got like a hitch to it, which isn't supposed to be good. But we've seen other players in the past in the NBA make it work. He's figured it out, whatever it is. Like, he can shoot even deep threes with that shot. I think if Ben Simmons tried to shoot like a deeper three, it would just not even hit the rim.
Man, the Pelicans with a healthy. With a healthy Zion and Lonzo Ball can very well be a very scary team in the future.
Well, and the good news is we're going to get to see it. I think that's what the NBA is setting up for. I think the main reason they went to 22 or whatever it is now is because they didn't want to miss out on the Ball.
Pelicans. Do you think there's any chance when they were making this? Yeah, that's actually a good topic. Was there any chance when they were making that decision that they went, we want to see Zion in the playoffs? Let's give him a shot to see Zion in the playoffs.
Absolutely. It was not just Zion, though. Think about the people that would have missed it. Damian Lillard, Zion, Carmelo Anthony. For us Spurs fans, like, we made it 22 straight years. Right. Why not break the streak, right? Like, why not just keep it going? Technically, even if it's a play-in game. And we have DeMar DeRozan. Probably for the last year we'll have him. So, like, let's give all these guys a chance, and then let's also just say fuck the East, because there's no stars missing out over there.
Oh, it's hot in here.
It is hot in here, yeah.
Fuck the East Coast.
Well, we're almost done anyways.
Do they not have any teams? Is that what you guys keep saying? They don't really have teams that are even close, right?
Yeah, so like their 9th and their 10th place, unlike the West, are like way further back.
Yeah.
So what this would do is let in all of the West teams that are only 4 or less games back. So Sacramento, Phoenix, San Antonio, Pelicans, and Blazers. So even the Suns and the Kings would have a chance. Yeah. Which is good because Devin Booker, like there's even stars on the smaller West teams. So either way, I think you're right. I think when they looked at it, they go, well,
they made a list. They made a list of all the players who wouldn't be in the playoffs.
Or they said this, and let's go back to your point. They go, well, we really want Zion in, but we can't have it be completely fucking obvious. So let's just add a couple more other teams and then make it. They're like, we actually, we actually really don't even want the Blazers, but they're ahead of the Pelicans, so we got to have the Blazers. And they're like, okay, well then, shit. Maybe we need to throw in the Kings. And they're like, well, if we're going to throw in the Kings, we got to throw in the Spurs. If we're going to throw in the Spurs, we got to throw in the Suns.
I think you're probably right, yeah.
And then they're going to find a way to, like, food poison every other team, but
I love it.
the Pelicans.
Well, I think that's a show today, right, boys?
I love it.
All right, everybody. Thanks for listening to the show. I admit, it was nice to be back. A couple weeks. Well, full disclosure, it was 1 week, but the week before we all got on here and hung out.
For 3 hours.
And we all got on here and hung out for 3 hours and then didn't post a show. So it was 1 week for you all, but it was 2 weeks for you all, but it was 1 week for us. And, and I'm fine with that.
And we may keep doing that. Who knows?
That might happen, yeah. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for listening to the show. Make sure you check out timespoorly.com and have a good weekend. TSP. You know me.
Go Warriors.
Go Warriors.